fortunate enough to be the director of African Gothic by Reza.
My name is Liesel de Kok and I'm playing Sissy in African Gothic.
Please, sit down.
My name is Tembi Mjali Jones. I'm playing Alina.
My name is Mpose Tutu. I play the character of Mr. Javier.
Do no such a thing.
My name is Zak Hendricks and I'm playing the role of Frikkie.
When I find out that you lied to me.
I will never lie to you, Buddy.
About a year and a half ago, our dean from the Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture, FADA, came to UJ Arts and Culture and said that he's looking for a big multidisciplinary project, something that transcends the arts. So African Gothic came across my desk and we read it, and it was an interesting project. It was a project that had lots of design problems, how we bring these various disciplines together. Then, okay, fine, here's the project. How do we make it outcomes-based? There had to be marked on it. And then the dean just threw it into the hat one more time to say, and then we want to produce it, a full-scale production. We want to benchmark and we want to showcase what the University of Johannesburg does.
I'm Federico Freschi. I'm the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Art, Design and Architecture at the University of Johannesburg. This project aimed to leverage the skills within the faculty. So being a faculty of Art, Design and Architecture, we have 8 creative disciplines: architecture, fashion, graphic design, industrial design, interior design, multimedia, visual art. And of course, the UJ Arts and Culture is also a division within the faculty.
He commissioned us to find a play that we would then present to the students, and they would have to come up with an entire production design, from costumes, sets, props, advertising campaign, posters and all of that, but from their various disciplines. They were broken up in 30 different groups.
The 2 primary intentions. The first was to find a way in which we could really productively leverage the fact that UJ Arts and Culture is part of the faculty, and do that in a way that was meaningful, that contributed meaningfully to the curriculum. And on the other hand, to really encourage students at a junior level, so in second year, to start working together collaboratively, to understand what it means to collaborate, to understand how the power of the creative disciplines can really be amplified through a productive and structured and meaningful collaborative project. What inspired this idea was the historical example of the Bauhaus. Now, the Bauhaus was a major design school in Germany in the 1920s that really pioneered the basis of modern design education and indeed the idea of designing for industrial production. One of the important aspects of the Bauhaus was the theatre workshop. So although the intention of the Bauhaus was to produce designers who would be able to go into industry and to really create the products to support the modern world as it was being conceived at that time, the founders of the Bauhaus, Walter Gropius and others, recognized the importance of creativity and of play within that. So the theatre became an important part of the Bauhaus in the sense that the theatre became a kind of a laboratory for design.
We've got 300 students that, out of their comfort zones, have never designed for theatre before at all. And they came up with mind-blowing designs.
I think bringing in a massive group of young people like this, getting them to really, or challenging them to really think beyond their comfort zones, and to put them in a high-pressure situation, a kind of a pressure cooker environment, where in literally 2 weeks they've got to come up with a workable model and a fully thought-through concept that can go into production, is it's a very challenging project, and it's a great achievement, I think, that they could do this.
Landing a role like this that is sort of you would really sell a kidney to do it. So it's been a wonderful experience to see how your love, which is quite private, is shared by so many students and so many people, and the fact that it was interdisciplinary, the fact that graphic designers, architects, jewelry designers, interior designers came together to deal with a very dark script, a phenomenal playwright, and they brought such integrity and justice to her vision. And they were, I don't know how Alby and them actually managed to choose, because all of them were just exceptional. It is extremely humbling, and it's such an honor and a privilege to see like young students just kick ass like that. So that's been really cool, yeah.
I think a project like this, by its very nature, is disruptive. It's saying that we're not going to do business as usual. We're not simply going to accept that, all right, well, theatre design belongs to the realm of people who teach theatre, and that design students should only be focusing on the sort of core of their curriculum. Instead, it says, let us draw on our diverse ranges of knowledge, of experience, of insights, of cultural attitudes, of social behaviours, put them all into the mix and see what comes out.
In South Africa, we don't have the platform to have a preview before we actually have a proper opening. So that whole concept of having 300 people coming together, conceptualizing, talking about it, having discussions, sharing ideas, and then taking from that bits and pieces, the best bits and pieces from all those creators, and then basically coming up with the genre idea and the feel of the show, is an incredible process to go through. And as an actor coming into that space, that world that they created, and slotting in with that world is quite amazing, because you know that there's been a lot of love and effort that's been put into the project even before you started.
Well, you're bringing 300 young people into one space at one time to do something that they've never done before, and indeed that none of us has ever done before, so it is highly experimental. The way that we did that in a kind of a fairly scaffolded way, to bring the students all together at first, to bring in expertise from outside, so Professor Sarah Roberts, who's a very highly skilled production designer, to get her to come and talk about theatre. She brought colleagues in who could speak to various aspects of theatre and theatre production. So really to give them an intensive, kind of a crash course. And then to say, all right, put them into groups, give them mentors, and let them play. Let them really have fun with the play. And first, of course, part of that was also really understanding the play, to work deeply with the text and do a deep and close reading with the director, to understand exactly what the play is about and how its complexities, its emotional range, all of those things have to be communicated through the design. It's part of the magic of theatre.
When Reza de Wet wrote this play in the 80s, my character, I would say, represented the white psyche of that age, of that period, during apartheid, because there was quite a lot of change happening in the country, and it showed the fear and anxiety of the white population being scared of change and what was about to come with the new political situation.
It's a story that today, I think is very relevant today, because our children have to know where we are coming from. And I also think it represents the love that we had for each other, that was underlined there, us looking after white families and really taking care of them, taking care of the children as our own, while our children were left at home being taken care by other mothers.
So obviously in reimagining the character as a black actor, with a black actor or as a black person, we have to kind of strip away to who he really is, and I've enjoyed the process because it's gone to the core of character, not necessarily the macrocosm of what he represents on big scale, but who is he as a person, and then growing it from there to say, okay, how can this character be in 2017 in this house, and what does that mean?
I think it's extremely relevant at the moment, because a friend of mine said once, from a few months ago, white people must just be quiet for a while. Just be quiet and listen for a bit before jumping to conclusions and getting offended and being so absolutely precious about stuff. And I think that and I think Reza felt the same when she wrote this. She came from a culture that she felt alien in. She was other in her own culture, and the only way out was down into water. I think there's a lot of, the play sort of represents the work that needs to be done to rid ourselves of a very awful legacy.
I think it is so important to realize that we actually love each other. But we've never had these conversations. And young people, when they see these stories, they can realize that instead of hating, we have to love, we have to talk, we have to open up conversations and build our new South Africa based on the love that we had from the beginning. That's what I think Alina represents in this play.
How can we actually contribute to this conversation that's happening right now? Because I believe within the multidisciplinary space, that is where the strongest conversation surrounding decolonization is coming from. It is how we all work together. It is how we all bring our various disciplines, our various interests, our various loves, our various cultures, legacies and heritage, how we all bring it together to create a new narrative, a new South African narrative, a new South African identity. And I think the word is alteriety. Alteriety is that beautiful word where it's understanding yourself better through that of the other.
It means really that we're talking about the extraordinary possibilities that come out of diversity, that people are not all thinking the same way because we are so diverse. And when you are harnessing that for its positive potential, the possibilities are extraordinary.
I've never seen white people living like this. When did your parents? When did the tragedy occur?